So you're interested in getting a Galvanized Geodude, are you? Well, you've come to the right place because this is going to be an entire guide dedicating just to getting one hidden ability Pokemon. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what kind of clickbait is this? This is a sham of a video. All I have to do is go out, have an SOS battle, get a hidden ability, which is like a 15% chance after a while. It's not going to be hard at all. I don't need a whole video to find out how to get Geodude. Don't worry, I ignorantly thought that one day, and then you'll have the sudden realization as your heart breaks in two when you see Geodude use self-destruct. That is right, because the leveling and the levels that you encounter Geodude, it will know self-destruct, which means at any given time, it will blow up all of your hopes and dreams at any point in the chain, and then that means you will not be getting your Galvanized Geodude. So let's figure out how to remedy this. Well, what you can do is go to the Pony Gauntlet. At the Pony Gauntlet, you can go and pick up a Golduck. Now, Golduck will have the Damp ability, which means explosive effects will be suppressed. Now, this does mean you will have to go and pay attention that when you encounter a Golduck, if you do not see the Cloud9 ability activate, that means as Damp, that means you should go and catch it. Now, the reason why you want to get Golduck is that it can learn a lot of different moves that you can go and teach it something like the Waterfall, give it Scald, Psychic, Brick Break. You can give it all of these kinds of moves, and then you're going to be able to easily KO the Geodudes because you encounter Golduck at such a high level. And you can even capture Golduck in a Quick Ball with a moderate chance for success. So that's going to be the start of this right here. Now, there's also another Pokemon that you can use for getting this as well. That Poliwhirl can be found in Coney City in the Pokemon Center, that if you trade a Zubat to a girl, she will give you the Poliwhirl. That Poliwhirl will always have the Damp ability, and it also does have an advantage over the Golduck in that it can learn Hypnosis. So what you do is you go to the move relearner, you teach it Hypnosis, and then you also need to go and put some levels into it. That it pretty much depends on how much work you want to do. If you get the Golduck, well, it's already a fairly high level, and you should be pretty safe from the electric type hits of the Geodude. For Poliwhirl, you're going to have to give it substantial amounts of levels, that way it doesn't get nuked immediately, and you can still one-hit KO the opposing Geodudes. And then you also want to give the Golduck Disable for reasons that will become clear in a bit. So you might be hearing people talk about setting up a Smeargle, this magical Smeargle with Imprisoned Self-Destruct. That way you can use Imprison on the Geodude, it won't be able to self-destruct because it's locked into that move, and then Smeargle will be able to go and use Skill Swap on that Geodude to find out the hidden ability, because not only do you have to keep Geodude alive long enough in the chain for a Galvanized Pokemon to appear, but you also have to capture the correct one. That if you, in the chain, you capture a Geodude and it turns out to have Sturdy, well, that was a lot of work that was wasted. Also, Geodude does have the Sturdy ability, so you also could consider setting up a Stealth Rocks very early on in the battle. That way you can break any potential Sturdy that Geodude might have, since it can take 2 turns to knock out Geodude, which means it's almost taking twice as long to get to 30 to where you can have the maximum optimal way of getting the hidden ability on the Geodude. But also, don't even try. Don't even try for the Imprisoned Smeargle, because it's the most convoluted thing ever. That you need to have a Damp Pokemon that can put the Ditto to sleep, that way it can't self-destruct itself, but it has to use self-destruct. So pretty much, to set up this Smeargle, if you've ever wanted to know how to get self-destruct on a Smeargle, you need to get a Geodude that has no moves except for self-destruct. So you go out, capture your Geodude, and then you move delete everything except for the self-destruct. After that, what you need to do is bring it into a Ditto. Ditto will transform into that Pokemon, and then you have to switch out into your Damp Pokemon, which can then Hypnosis the Ditto. So this is where Poliwhirl is going to come into play if you want to get that self-destruct on the Smeargle. That way, you now have a Ditto that is a Geodude that most recently used self-destruct that is asleep, so it can't blow itself up, and then that is when you bring in Smeargle to sketch it. The amount of work required for this is not worth it, because at any given time, say you need to switch in the Smeargle to then set up the Imprison. Well, it could just be a very unlucky turn that when you switch in on the Smeargle, that is when Geodude explodes. Except for that point, you will need to also have it to where you have Hypnosis. So Poliwhirl or Golduck will disable or Hypnosis the Pokemon that's trying to use self-destruct. Then Smeargle can come in, Imprison, and then use Skill Swap, but then it means that Imprison is useless. That if the wild Geodude is already asleep or already disabled, then you don't need to Imprison lock it, because then you can just bring in any Pokemon. I recommend Carbink. You can catch Carbink, it gets Skill Swap at level 40 naturally, no breeding, no shenanigans required right there, and then that means you just bring in Carbink, you Skill Swap, you check the ability, and then that's going to be good to go. So after you check the ability, then you have to go back into your Damp Pokemon, and then either go for the capture on Geodude, or then try to just KO it and cycle again. It takes a very long time. Now, there are some interesting things that you can get once Pokebank becomes available, because right now it is impossible to get Simple Beam bred into a Golduck, because the only 2 Pokemon that can learn Simple Beam naturally, Audino and Beheeyem, are not available in the game right now. But once you get that, then what you would want to do is have a Smeargle sketch your Simple Beam, capture that Smeargle, breed that Smeargle with a Golduck. So it has to be a male Smeargle and a female Golduck, and then you can get Simple Beam on your Golduck. Also, you could recommend to have the Hypnosis if you're breeding, because Golduck can kind of also be a Poliwhirl at the same time, but you have to breed Hypnosis into that Golduck. And then after that, you are finally set up because you can use the Simple Beam on the Golduck to check the ability without going into Skill Swap. So that's actually going to be like the best way of using this, but before Pokebank, it doesn't even matter. And here's the big screw you. That already people have tons of Galvanized Geodude, because once that first Galvanized Geodude is captured, either by like dumb luck, that if you really want to do it, you can grind up to like a 20 chain, capture the Geodude, pray for Galvanize. Grind up to a 20 chain, pray for Galvanize, capture the Geodude. Grind up, you know, you can do that, and that could actually take less time than trying this convoluted method where something could go wrong and the Geodude could explode. But also, when you think about it, all you need is one Geodude. Once that first Galvanized Geodude exists, you can breed infinite amounts of them, and then the hidden ability will carry over. That's everything you need. So pretty much what I have to say right now is that if you are like an Iron Man, if you do everything solo for yourself, just wait till Pokebank and then get the Simple Beam onto the Golduck, and then everything will be fine. But if not, go make some friends. That even if you're a guy that has like a third ear growing out of his chin, and then you have a fork shoved into a potato, that way you can Wi-Fi signal boost your neighbor's stolen internet to get your DS to try to get online, you will have an easier time doing that and then getting someone else's Galvanized Reject than whatever method it's going to take to end up with a Galvanized Geodude in your game for yourself. So, go make some friends. That's the moral of this story right here. Because there is no saving this. There's no reason to do it. Don't try anything. It takes hours, and unless you're incredibly lucky or incredibly stubborn or doing this only for yourself, there is no point to be going for this Geodude, since there's already enough that exists. And then when Pokebank happens, it's going to get even better. You know, maybe in the first week or so, this would have been like the absolute prize, but by then you're like too busy beating the game and trying to understand how any of these methods work. So just don't do it. Just don't do it. Make some friends, get some friends for yourself, then we'll be good to go. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, so I'm recording this now. I'm gonna see how bad we screwed up, but we have the Geodude. So the plan is to have Geodude KO the Lillipup, and then hopefully the other Geodude survives. Like, we need the Geodude on the right to KO the Lillipup, and then we go into the Smeargle, and then Smeargle can sketch the self-destruct. But we need to have Lillipup stay alive enough to be able to, like, have that happen. Self-destruct. Good. Which one was it? Right? Good. Now that one! Don't use self-destruct, Geodude! Don't use self-destruct! Please KO me! Please KO me! Please KO me! Please KO me! No! Oh, it didn't work. That was close, but it didn't work. Okay, so I shouldn't have used the potion. I don't know. I thought the self-destruct was going to do more damage and just straight KO us, and I didn't want to get KO'd to like a double rock throw or something. Now we're boned. Now we're boned. Dang it. Okay, so I'm just going to throw out the crunch, I guess. Maybe try to get that Geodude to do an SOS. And... Ah! This is impossible! This is impossible! Okay, update time. I think we have our self-destruct squad. So the plan is to have level 1 Geodude Quick Claw self-destruct against the Smeargle. So we need the Quick Claw or else Smeargle sketches nothing, and then, well, it kind of sucks to be us right there. So then he's going to get that. Then we go into Golduck for the self-destruct, and then we disable that. Then we go into Lunala, and then we Hypnosis, and then we catch the Smeargle, and then as a self-destruct Smeargle, we relearn it for the sketch, and then that is how we get Imprison and then Skill Swap, and that is the simple method of obtaining a Galvanized Geodude. It's gonna fail, isn't it? It's gonna fail. A lot of people are prepping the fail a little too hard right now. Plan. Secondary plan, fine. You know what? It's gonna fail. There's like... It enables user to permanently learn once you sketch disappears attack does. Target, so it is targeted. Okay. Okay, so we have the self-destruct sketch squad right here. That's what I'm calling it. We have Smeargle added to the roster. The idea is that we get a Ditto. We switch into Geodude. Geodude only knows self-destruct because I move deleted and I move relearned. So this is an only level 1 self-destruct Geodude. Ditto becomes that. We go into Golduck, which has Damp. Therefore, that does not work. We disable the self-destruct, we go into Smeargle, and then we sketch it because hopefully sketch won't fail because struggle is a non-sketchable move. And we should be able to sketch a self-destruct. That was the last year's move. Like, it should not try to sketch the struggle and then fail. It should sketch the self-destruct. And that will be it. Right? We sketch. So it's been a very, very, very long grind up to this point. We are hopefully going to have the 31st Geodude called right now. And we have everything. Alright, there we go. That's what we need. So now I'm going to be very delicate, because I haven't been this far. I haven't been able to apply this. The idea is that we have self-destruct and imprison, so Geodude can't use it. We skill swap, and we see if it's Galvanize. Hopefully Smeargle doesn't die. Like, that would be a bad if Smeargle died. But no, if Smeargle dies, it's not like they're going to suddenly use self-destruct. They just cannot select self-destruct. So that's the problem right there, is that, like, Smeargle takes a lot of damage. So we skill swap, and we check that Geodude. And sturdy. Okay, so that's a sturdy. Ooh. It had to be sturdy, too. It had to be sturdy. What? But it's in prison! What did I do wrong? Did I not need to get self-destruct for that imprison? Because then I could have just used disable Golduck when it tried to self-destruct, and then I go into Smeargle for skill swap. Is that what my life is now, guys? Did I need to do none of that?